You need to be a bit careful on how you are studying, on how you're dealing with the different things. So, for example, a band 8 student doesn't know more English than you. They are on the same page like you are. The visual timeline left that we can clearly see is the preparation phase. Let's suppose you're a beginner. IELTS is not just like any other competitive examination in which you need to solve n number of questions just to have a hands-on just to have a really good hands-on experience to the question. Hi everyone, welcome back in this another really interesting video where today I will be telling you the amazing strategy for band 8. And it's not only for band 8 but it is for band 8 plus. Now, there are many of you who are willing to go for band 8 and you don't actually know how to get to that. And trust me, it's nothing more than the silly mistakes that you guys are doing. And I'll help you over here to understand how you will be able to overcome with these mistakes and what all mistakes you're making and how can we solve this up. So let's get started. Starting off with the basic thing what leads you to a band 8 score. Okay, so a band 8 score, or the question comes up with who can get a really good band 8 or 8 plus score. It's anyone, and yes, anyone can get a band 8 score, but not studying randomly would lead you to a band 8 score. You need to be a bit careful on how you are studying, on how you're dealing with the different things. So, for example, a band 8 student doesn't know more English than you. They are on the same page like you are. It's just that they make fewer mistakes. The mistakes are not the silly ones, neither the major ones. They manage time better. They are able to manage the time frame that is being given to them better than many of them. They avoid losing easy marks. Now, talking about the easy marks, what exactly are we talking about? Easy marks in certain modules are the kind of question in which you can easily gain mark without any kind of effort. And that's where you need to understand that you need to work a little harder on that. Now, moving on, let's learn how to stop losing marks. Now, talking about some of the mistakes that needs to be stopped, or some of the mistakes that we don't need to make at the time of attempting the examination so that we don't lose marks here. So what exactly are we looking forward for? So yes, I am talking about the September intake timeline that you need to work harder for. Now, what exactly is it? The visual timeline left that we can clearly see is the preparation phase. Let's suppose you're a beginner. Foundation phase, skill building, exam stimulation, revision, and the golden rule, that is talking about the mistakes that you guys are already making. Now, there are a lot of problems which are not very major, but many of you don't actually care to work on that. And that what's keeping your low scores. Now let's understand why students stay at band 6.5 to 7. What is making them to stay at that particular band score and not moving ahead? See, at the time when you start your preparation, it is very easy to go from 0 to 99. But the fact that becomes difficult and hard to achieve is going from 99 to 100. And that's what you need to work for. Now let's see how we are going to work on it. So it's not because of the English that is what you need to work upon. It's basically the habit. Now, many of you don't actually have that kind of environment. Many of you might struggle. Many of you might have struggled a lot in order to gain the kind of what do we call the proficiency on this particular language. And I know that, and it's something which is very common. It's not like you are the only person who are dealing with this particular kind of problem. It's many of you over there who are actually trying to get a really good band score. So for that, we need to have a little bit homework we need to do on what exactly keeping you at 6.5. Let's say a 6.5 band student continuously watches tips and tricks. Is it worth it? The answer is yes, it is. But at what cost? Watching tips or watching only tips will not at all improve your band score until you are really good with the basics. Now, what basic does? A basic enhances your foundation. What all things you need to achieve a proficiency in a language is what basic does to you. Only by watching tips is not going to lead you to more than 8 plus band score. Not especially for the intake that we are planning about. Now the another part is they solve random tests. Do you think solving random tests actually is actually going to be the solution? No. IELTS is not just like any other competitive examination in which you need to solve n number of questions just to have a hands-on just to have a really good hands-on experience to the question. It's basically analyzing a pattern. Yes, it does has a pattern. I'll be telling you module wise what kind of pattern I am talking about, but as of now, just understand this much that every module has a pattern to practice, and we are here not talking about the bulk, but we are talking about the quality that you need to come up at the time when you're practicing the questions. And the third part, which is among the most important aspects of what you actually need to do, and that is doesn't analyze mistakes. You analyzing mistake is what going to make your marks better at the time when you're appearing for your examination. Let's suppose you have written an essay and you've got all correct, except your faculty tells you that you need to add more complex and compound sentences rather than using simple sentences. Now, your essay looks absolutely fine with a 6 band score. But adding more sentences will, of course, enhance the band score because that comes under the band descriptor. Now, here comes a question: what is a band descriptor? Band descriptor tells what quality each and every band score guy possess. And a band 6 student only uses run on sentences and a simple sentence in order to write the entire particular essay. But using more of compound sentence and complex sentence will of course enhance your band score. And to understand what is compound and complex sentence, you need to dive a little bit deeper on the type of sentences and the conjunctions or the connectors that we use in order to make a sentence with a format of subject verb agreement. That's what makes your answer better. And not analyzing mistakes will, no matter what you do, you will always end up getting into that same particular point where you're making a lot of mistakes. Also, not analyzing mistake will lead you to be there on. So let's suppose you've practiced today, okay, and you're practicing again next week. What will happen? You will be lying at the very same band score on which you are here today. It's not going to make any difference, so. Okay? Give up after one mock. Let's suppose you took a mock. Now what? You've scored less. 7, 6.5, 8. It's okay. Fine. It's totally fine. You are not supposed to use mock as your success determination, or that's not what you want to determine how you will perform in your exam day. Taking a mock initially. Now, taking one mock will only help you understand how well adaptive you are to the environment of the examination. That's all. One mock will help you understand how long you have to sit at the examination hall. One mock will help you understand how you will be able to deal with the different module with a different time frame that has been allocated to you. One mock will only help you understand how to cater to each and every module within the time frame that is given and how perfectly come up with an answer. That's all. And one mock is not going to decide what will be your band score at the end of the day when you've already appeared for your examination. This is just for your preparation. Until and unless you appear for 3 to 4 mocks, do not consider that band score as your original band score, and do not try to assume that this is the only band score that you deserve to achieve. Trust me, you can achieve 9. Yes, it might sound a bit weird and difficult for you to get, but yes, you can achieve 9 band score, and it is nothing less than what you deserve. Band 8 students, what do? They maintain an error notebook. Now, again, this might sound really childish, childlike. Like, who does it in this year or now? People do. Who actually want to know what exactly they are making a mistake upon, they will do it. Making an error notebook will help you analyze your mistake, keeping all the mistakes on one side, and will help you understand how you will be catering to the mistake and what all solutions you have for those errors. Review every mistake that you make. And yes, a band student does that. They review each and every mistake they make, no matter whether they are the major one or the minor one, they do analyze it. Practice week's module daily. Let's suppose my favorite part is listening, reading, and writing, and speaking is where I stuck a lot. What do I do as a normal human being? Normal as in, like a person who is normally preparing for the examination. I would rather skip speaking and will do the next rest of the module. What is it doing to me? It is only making my weak module weaker and weaker throughout the day and the coming weeks. But what if I start with the speaking? And I just, on the other hand, in the back of the hand or in the back end, I just only practice those modules which I'm really good at. And for the speaking, I'm putting on more and more effort so that I get it better. At the end of the day, you will have the most important aspect and the interesting aspect with a stronger aspect, and that will be your speaking. That's how you practice the weaker module. Track your progress. This week, whatever you have done, track it in the next week. Always remember, small efforts comes up with a bigger result. And that's what you want for your answer. Okay? Now, moving ahead, we have the next important aspect that's over here, and that is the biggest myth is I need a really good vocabulary or a difficult one. No, you don't have to. You don't need difficult vocabulary. You just need the accurate vocabulary that will be required for your answer. Okay? So that is where you have to be a bit careful at the time when you're dealing with it. So I was talking about the vocabulary that you need to work on. Now, IELTS requires only two kind of vocabularies. First, which has a flexibility. Second, which has a preciseness. Your vocabulary doesn't need to be difficult. It just need to be accurate and flexible at the same time. How can you make it flexible while using a lot of synonyms? And how can you make it precise while knowing just exactly which word to be used? A Band 8 student uses clear vocabulary, correct grammar, natural collocations. For example, utilization of transport. Nope. Use of public transport will be your actual answer. Now, what is 80-20 rule? And what is the strategy that we are going to come up with? It is giving 20% of effort that gives 80% of improvement. And that's what we have to be a bit careful of at the time when you're dealing with the with the answers that we have to come up with. Now you need to focus on listening the numbers, date, plurals, and spelling. Now where does the 80-20 rule focuses upon? You don't need to give all of your effort, you just need to give the right effort. Let's suppose you're listening an audio that is in different accent. Let's suppose American accent. How will you figure out the answer? Always read the question first, mark the keyword, and then come up with an answer. While doing this, you will be getting to know what exactly is going to be there in the audio. Because question tells you a little bit about the audio. Not 100%, but at least 40%. You will be aware of the audio. And once you mark the question and try to predict the answer, this will eventually help you to come up with a perfect answer that you are looking forward for. That's where the 20-80 rules comes into action. 20% will be your effort to figure out what exactly the question is talking about and the vocabularies are asking you to do with the prediction of the answers. Rest 80% once you listen to the audio and when you mark the keywords, those keywords will eventually guide you to the perfect answer. And this is where we come up with this rule. Talking about further, talking about reading. How do we do that in that? There are certain, now reading includes a lot of aspect. There are certain question which comes in the order of the question. There are certain question which doesn't come in the order of the question. Now, there are certain things that you need to take care of the word limit. What are the word limit that have been asked you to follow? 2 words, 1 word, or 3 word? What exactly is it? What about the writing structure? Are we dealing with academic task 1 or essay writing or a letter writing? What will be the structure of all the 3 questions? Speaking, is it all about not taking pause and keep on speaking, or is it about speaking properly? I have a solution to all your questions. Now, a listening strategy includes reading ahead, means reading the question first. Predict the answer type, underline the keywords, and guess the paraphrase. You won't get very difficult paraphrases, remember that. You will only get paraphrasings which are going to be very easy, and not everything needs to be paraphrased. There are some of the proper nouns which you can never paraphrase. Of course. Can you paraphrase your name? No, right? And that's exactly what you need to learn at the time when you're dealing with the listening. Now, reading doesn't include reading everything that's been given to you and marking everything that's been given to you. It's always the right strategy for the right question. You don't have to ace the entire 40 question, but you have to ace the different question types, which is all the 14 question types that you have in your reading module. And that's what's going to make a difference. Now, writing module is not only about writing perfectly or writing lengthy. It's always about the right approach. Understanding the question, what exactly the question is trying to ask you. Is it asking you to come up with complicated ideas or the basic ones? Do they actually care about the ideas? No. It's always about how you present and not what you present. And yes, you have to make sure that it should be relevant to question. Last but not least, we have the speaking. Let's take a question. What do you do? Do you work or do you study? Well, I'm a student by profession and I'm studying at Lovely Professional University and pursuing MBA course. This course is of 2-year program to which I'm in 3rd semester, which is the initial stage of the 2nd year. My subject areas include business studies, economics, mathematics, and accountancy. I have pursued because I have a future business plan to cater to. And I just want to do best for my business. This college not only helps me to have the theoretical approach, but also the practical approach of whatever I'm studying. And that's the reason I thought of pursuing this particular course from the college. That's no repetition, no extra words, no additional information, no irrelevant information, just pure answer. That's what is you have to go that's what you have to do at the time when you're speaking. And that is what required. Now let's talk about the error notebook. It should always the question, the answer, the correct answer, and why is it wrong with the revision date. Now I know you guys might be working professional, you guys might be college student. For you, having to be very punctual with the revision date isn't possible, and I truly get it. But at least you can do the rest of them, which is the question, your answer, and the correct answer that needs to be there. Anytime you open your revision notebook is exactly where you're going to find that question, and you'll be able to revise it properly. It's not something that you can remember, but it is something that you can at least try and understand how it works. And that's all. That's where we come to an end of our video. I hope you like the session, and let me know if you need any further help from my end. I'll be happy to help. Okay then, bye bye, take care. We're going to see you in the next video.